60s.
Riddle me this. What do you call a sleeping bull? Answer. A bulldozer.
You know, the Riddler had his own album back in the 60s?
I mean, who didn't?
Between an elephant and a flea.
We would sure like to know the difference between an elephant and a flea.
Well, an elephant can have fleas, but a flea can't have elephants.
No, but hey, listen, I don't know how well that sold, but you'll recall, if you're old enough to remember the Batman television show, Frank Gorshin was the Riddler back then, and he was already a pretty well-known guy. He's kind of a song and dance man, as a lot of actors back then had come from that tradition. And it forced me to dig up an album that I had in my archives from a band called The Villains from the 60s, where they just did it was called Batman Themes or something, and it was all these like groovy type Hepcat songs, but with Batman themes. That Riddler song there, Frank Gorshin had an album as the Riddler back in the 60s. I only mention this
How
because
many songs are on that album? Like, I can see one. Like, if they did like all the villains did one song.
Yeah.
But how many songs does the Riddler need?
Yeah.
Riddle me
know.
this. How many songs does the Riddler need?
Yeah. Frank Gorshin. And he's been dead for a little while. But, yeah, Batmania, The Riddler. You'll recall that Method Man did the song called The Riddler from the Batman Forever soundtrack. That was the Val Kilmer Batman, I believe.
Jim Carrey is the Riddler.
That's right. And I only mention this because they've announced they're kind of breadcrumbing out the casting on the new The Batman. It's coming out in about a year and a half. With R. Pats is going to be the Batman. Zoe Kravitz is going to be Catwoman, and they announced that Paul Dano is going to be the Riddler. So I wonder if he's going to be the main villain, or because I really do associate those classic villains with the campier Joel Schumacher movies. Because that Batman Forever, boy, it was all neon pink.
Yeah,
and it was
all like glow in the dark and backlit and weird. Yeah.
And then you had Mr. Freeze in the Clooney Batman.
Right, still Schumacher directing.
Yes.
You know, what's his face looks a lot like George Clooney now.
Who's that? Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, Robert Pattinson.
Does he
There's
really?
pictures of him where you can see similarities. He doesn't look exactly like him, but he's got a lot of similarities to George Clooney around that same age.
Okay. I didn't mind. The movie was awful, but I didn't mind George Clooney as Bruce Wayne.
He could have been a great Bruce Wayne. He's a great casting for Batman Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
The movie was just terrible.
It was. I even liked Val Kilmer. You know, I don't mind Val Kilmer. That was Nicole Kidman, and, poor Val Kilmer. He had a throat thing, and so the guy can barely speak now. He's kind of got that Roger Ebert thing around his neck.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
I love Val Kilmer, and I just watched Tombstone for the first time.
First time?
Yeah, I never saw it, and I watched it, and Val Kilmer is so good in it. And
that has
Kurt
a great
Russell,
cast in general.
Kurt Russell
Michael Bihn's in it.
Is so bad.
You think so?
Tell
him hell's coming with me.
Yeah, because he's so Kurt Russell in everything he plays.
Right.
Like, everybody else is playing to the time period.
Uh-huh.
They're kind of talking like you would suspect they talk in that time period. And then Kurt Russell's talking exactly like Snake Plissken. Sounds the same.
Because Val Kilmer's going, I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, I'll be a Huckleberry.
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
What a great line. You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. Hell's a-poppin'. You want to see Kurt Russell in a great Western, watch a film called Bone Tomahawk.
That's a newer one, right?
It's a few years old. We watched it in a hotel room in Toronto. We came back from drinking, and Gwen passed out, and I was clicking around the pay-per-view, and I go, love Kurt Russell. I like Westerns. Had no idea that it was kind of a horror Western. I probably talked about it at the time. The movie's probably 4 or 5 years old. This movie takes a 180 about halfway through, and you're like, holy Christ. Matthew Fox is in it. And I forget the guy who directed it, but he's in a couple of movies. But if you like Kurt Russell, and you like Westerns, and you like let's say graphic dismemberment, Bone Tomahawk is the movie for you.
Graphic
That's a perfect
dismemberment.
off-the-radar Halloween movie, as a matter of fact. Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to... I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Is it on any streaming service?
I'm sure that it is. It's probably on Amazon.
Probably have to
or-
rent it, though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got $1,000 here for you in a few minutes. 2:30 is going to be your next shot to go fund yourself. If I leave, and I know it's the beginning of the show, but I want to get it out of the way. You know, if I leave you with any thought today, you don't have to have any special talents or education to do something amazing. Look at me. I kicked in a door and the world freaked out. That's the final line there, Bill, from Charles Ramsey's Dead Giveaway book. I was in my office during the break, and I have stacks of books on top from people that I've had on the show over the years who are pimping a book. And they send me a book, and I'll peruse it before the interview, and then I'll stick it up on my desk. And so big stacks of books, and every once in a while I'll just kind of stand there and look at them. And half of them I've forgotten that they've been on the show before. Rick Springfield, he's been on the show, plugging his book. Johnny Rotten's been on the show. And Charles Ramsey's Dead Giveaway, in the immediate aftermath of the Ariel Castro thing, when everything was coming up Ramsey, he did this book called Dead Giveaway. Somebody got a hold of him and said, bro, you should write a book.
It's all of, 75 pages?
It's 162 pages.
Okay,
it's not a
okay.
massive tome. I mean,
right.
you could blow through it in an afternoon, in a day.
Where is that guy
Maybe
now?
you could.
But he's a nice guy. Actually, the very last paragraph, that's not the last line. The very last paragraph is him talking about how to prepare the perfect hamburger. Of course, he was known for, he was eating
was
his
a
little
cook,
food
yeah.
there, yeah.
Eat my little food, right?
Eating his little food.
See, I'm not the only one that says little on everything.
Huh?
I'm not the only one that says little on everything.
Who said you were?
Erica used to say all the time, like Matt has a little DJ gig tonight. He's like, why you always say little in front of everything? I'm like, I don't know. It's just a habit. Like,
I don't think you're the only person that said that. I think a lot of people say that.
I got a little thing going on tonight.
There you go. I would blast Jump by Crisscross, tooling down the road, the coolest N-word in Cleveland, he said. I even wore my pants backward like those little bastards.
Listen,
Talk
so did
about
I.
a pain in the ass if you have to pee.
So did I.
Yep.
And I don't know if that makes you all that cool. Maybe it's cooler if you're in the hood doing it versus at Sidney Fenn Elementary School doing it.
Well, people used to wear their pants at their knees. Remember when sagging
yeah.
was in?
What was in?
Yeah.
Sagging. I mean,
Oh.
people always said that we'll look back on that fashion and laugh. And I never really was a sagger because I always felt like my pants would fall. My legs were way too skinny for that. But my brother, he would have pretty much his entire upper thigh, and butt out. Like, ugh.
Yeah, but if it got to that point, what's the point? Like,
That was the whole point. It was fashion. It's not supposed to make sense.
But you still see some cats that will, the pants are down, mid-ass cheek, which I go, okay, whatever, they're doing their thing. But, boy, if you're getting it down to where
it was low.
you're, doing
Yeah.
that scoot everywhere you walk.
It looked like he had midget legs. That's how low the pants were.
Yeah, some people did it, I think, way too low. The idea, I think, was just, on the butt or just below the butt. But then some people would go all the way down to, mid-thigh, knee. And then you just look so ridiculous. I mean, it always looked ridiculous. But there was definitely levels of it that looked more ridiculous than others.
And everybody used to do it. And
Yeah,
they were like, it's just a phase. We were like, shut up, this is who we are. And then literally, maybe 5 or 6 years later, gone. I don't see anybody
but
sagging
again,
anymore.
fashion is all phases, you know? I mean, at that time, that's who you were. You weren't lying.
I mean, I wore shirts that made me look like I was wearing a dress.
Listen,
so.
if you didn't wear carpenter jeans when I was in high school, you were an outcast.
With the hammer loop, he probably wore them in shop class because he had an actual hammer. He was
That's
studying
right.
to be a carpenter. Did you wear carpenter pants?
I'm sure I
carpenter jeans.
I think that was he's probably more in the skinny jeans phase, but
The Dickies.
carpenter pants were huge.
I was in Dickies phase on lab days.
I assume that as a younger man or as a junior high school or whatever, you were probably very impressionable fashion-wise, weren't you? With trends and things like that.
Yeah.
You just jump on a trend, right?
When you look at my TBTs, you can tell, I was not myself in high school.
No mesh tops.
No, oh God, no.
No glittery mesh
Actually,
tops.
my senior year, I remember I had a shirt I bought from H&M, and I went with one of my best friends, Cody. Like, his name was Cody, too, and he was one of the first friends I came out to. And he took me to H&M. He was like, we're going to the gay club tonight. Get something gay. And I was like, well, what's gay? He was like, I don't know. Look up a gay person. And I literally typed in gay celebrity, and the first one that popped up was Ricky Martin. He had, like, this button-up shirt that pretty much went down to his belly button. And I was like, okay, where will we find that? He said, H&M. And I looked at him, I'm like, how do you
That's
know?
just because their shirts are too small.
Yeah, I was like, how do you know this stuff? He's like, I dress gay. I'm like, okay.
I dress gay.
And we went there, and sure enough, I found a shirt that buttoned all the way down to my belly button. He was like, now keep that open, and we're going to go to Bounce. And I that was the only time I wore it in high school, and I felt so free.
You know how I know you're gay?
How do you know I'm gay?
Because you macrameed yourself a pair of jean shorts.
And they're technically not jean shorts anymore, but
Jorts?
By the way, I've been informed that as of Wednesday, 14,000 tickets have been sold for Celine Dion at the RomoFijo.
oh, not a sellout.
And so that person is telling me.
Oh.
Also, Alan, please ask Poundcake where he's sitting tonight. If I can upgrade him, I will go find him and give him new seats.
Tell them the email, poundcakehead.
Yeah, poundcakealancockshow.com or at Radio Cody B on Instagram, because I would love a seat upgrade.
I've also been informed that RomoFijo.com is a thing. I'm looking right at it.
No, yeah?
RomoFijo, and then in parentheses, clap, 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 just for fun. So whoever did that on GoDaddy,
I
thank
love
you.
that. Thank you.
RomoFijo.com. Copyright 2019, RomoFijo.
That's great.
There you go.
I love you guys. I love it. I love you. It's so funny.
Can't wait
That's
to go
going to make
tonight.
me happy all day. I'm going to think about that just all night, and I'll just have a big, dumb grin on my face and be like,
I can shout it out.
RomoFijo.com.
I'll shout it outside my Uber when I pull up, RomoFijo, and see if anybody claps. Yeah.
Alan, anytime my 9-year-old hears Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on the radio, she yells RomoFijo and then does the clap.
Nice.
This is all without skipping a beat or acknowledging that anyone can hear her do this. Listen, every revolution begins with the youth. So, they're more easily impressionable for dumb crap like this. But whoever put together RomoFijo.com,
That's great.
mazel tov. Hey, I got $1,000 here for you. Good luck. Chance for you to go fund yourself.
Hey, it's Rover. Go fund yourself. We have your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword PAN to the number 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info, standard data, and message rate supply in this nationwide contest. That's PAN to 200-200. Good luck and go fund yourself from 100.7 WMMS.
Alan, what about that one pant leg up trend that lasted about a year?
I remember that,
I
too.
know that
I don't
too, yeah.
recall that.
It was so
one
much-
pant leg up?
It was
Yeah.
so much of a trend, they actually put it in, I think, Vice City, San Andreas. It was one of
That was an LL Cool J thing.
Oh, was it?
He brought that to the forefront, I
Yeah,
believe.
people would
in his
do that.
Phenomenon video, I believe.
I don't know. I watch
Yeah.
LL Cool J.
What's the matter with LL? Because you're not a lady. See, ladies love Cool James.
They do.
I saw him. I would tell you one thing. He aged
He looks good.
perfect. Like, not a wrinkle on his face. Still tall.
You
Still
know what
built.
they say? African Americans don't crack, Poundcake.
I almost dropped my crepe. I was like, is that
You
LL
and
Cool
this
J?
street slang all the time. I almost dropped my crepe.
He stopped me dead in my tracks. You just don't expect that. And I was like, is that LL Cool J?
He got me in my crumpet.
Almost dropped my crepe.
Almost dropped my crepe.
Instead of clutching my pearls, I'm going to say I almost dropped my crepe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. What'd you have in your crepe? Fruit or like sweet or savory?
It was
Always sweet.
It was sweet. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember I had
always sweet. I don't.
We always had crepes growing up, and my mom would make like a chicken filling that she'd put in them, and my brother loved them. That was like his birthday food.
I think crepes should be sweet.
And then
They're like sweet breakfast stuff.
I was always like, crepes are okay. I didn't really like it. And then someone's like, well, what do you
You had
have
the
in
wrong
it?
one.
And I was like, well, it was like a cream of chicken that my mom would put in there.
Cream of chicken.
That's what you'd
Yeah,
make.
Right.
It was like a mushroom based sauce with chicken in it, and that's what my brother liked, and that's what she'd make on his birthday. And then I finally had a crepe with sweet in it. I was like, oh,
This is amazing.
These are good.
Yeah. Strawberries or peaches or blueberry or something.
Get some Nutella in there. All sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, sure, why not? I was reading a thing that 45 has been determined to be the least fun age.
Because of Donald Trump? He's number 45?
I don't know if it has to do with him exactly.
I don't think so. No, I
He
mean
ruins everything. I'm not surprised.
But as somebody who is north of the least fun age, because that's how they kind of track life, you know, the common, the consensus on these kinds of studies is that they determine that you don't have a lot of fun when you're kind of younger, ironically, because you're trying to figure out who you are, and then you get bogged down with work and career and family and all that stuff. And so by the time you hit your mid-40s, and then when all that stuff goes away, that's when people start to get happy again. So for people who are trying to avoid as much responsibility as possible, you certainly can't look down on them because they're just trying to defer all that nonsense as long as they possibly can. They said the older you get, the more difficult it becomes to find amusement in everyday life.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, but that's how you maintain your sense of childhood curiosity. You know, I'm always accused by my wife of asking a lot of questions.
Why is that?
I think that she thinks that I'm being cheeky. See? That's only one, though.
I know.
I would have a follow-up to that, sure.
Oh, well, I'm going to let you answer.
Okay.
And then I'll ask more.
Yeah, I think she thinks that I'm being difficult.
And why do you think she thinks that you are always trying to be difficult?
Because she knows me.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that you are trying to be difficult, or do you think that you're trying to just learn more about the situation?
I'm trying to get to the root of the issue. And not even an issue. I just ask a lot of questions. You know, I want to know things. I try to be eternally curious. I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm just like, whatever.
It's better to be eternally curious than internally curious.
Is it?
I would say so.
All right. Well, there you go. Then to never speak aloud your questions.
Right.
Yeah, I just ask. I don't mind.
Curious about your insides.
I have never minded looking stupid, as should be readily apparent to anyone who listens to the show with any regularity. I never minded looking stupid if it gets me to a bit of information. So I'll ask questions that to a lot of people are probably pretty dumb questions. You know, people like to go, especially in business, I go, there are no dumb questions. I'm like, that's patently false. There are plenty of dumb questions. It's just that not everybody's willing to ask them, right? My wife still loves throwing the raisins thing at me. When I asked why
one time.
Well,
there's one dumb
comment and it follows you for the rest of your life.
Oh, it's not the only dumb comment she's ever heard me make.
Right,
that's just the funniest one to her.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty funny. So I get
when
why
I
she
asked
brings it
why
up.
there were, with all the dehydrated fruit, why no one would thought about dehydrated grapes. And she said, "You mean raisins?" And I go, "Oh, that's right.
Were
correct.
you
Sometimes I forget."
Huh? Were you impaired when you said that?
You mean drunk?
Drunk
I
or
was
high?
stone cold sober.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I didn't make the necessary connections. And I was thinking, too literally. I was, well, man, what if somebody, I think my brother had bought a food dehydrator or something, and I think those are always funny because people are like, oh, I dehydrate fruit. I'm like, so you remove all the delicious things of fruit and then eat the remainder of it. You dry out sweet, juicy fruit and then eat that?
You still get the sweet, though, just not the juicy.
Uh-huh.
I like some dehydrated fruit. Maybe the reason you couldn't think of raisins is because it's the only dehydrated fruit that has a name change.
Everything else is dehydrated, whatever it is.
Dried strawberries,
right?
Dried apricots, dried apples. Dried
Raisins
bananas.
aren't called dried grapes.
They're not called dried grapes. They're called raisins. They get a whole new brand.
There you go. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then they try to pass it off to you as nature's candy.
Bull crap.
You know that's nonsense. Nature's candy. Stop it. It's only a matter of time before nature told us how to make candy.
That's right. The reason we invented candy is because nature's candy is trash.
There you go. It's true. It's very, very true.
This is a bit. This is one of my old bits on my album, The Legend of Bill Squire. Yeah.
Nature's grass is pretty lit, though.
Well, that's the devil's lettuce.
Say, nature's grass is actual grass,
yeah, that's
too.
just grass.
Yeah. We call it grass as slang. The devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
That's what he uses in those BLT sandwiches.
Bacon, lit, and tomatoes.
Bacon, devil's lettuce, and tomatoes. Okay, Carnival of Horrors is going on through Halloween, through the 2nd, actually, weekend after, out at Blossom. If you want to check that haunted house out, I'll hook you up shortly. 35192 on a text, or AlanCoxShow.com for everything else.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio.